Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. Welcome to our Taurus New Moon Human Design Transit reading. So we're going to be looking at the new moon in Taurus through the lens of human design and seeing what gate it's happening on, what that means for us collectively, what happens if it's how it's hitting our human design chart, what that looks like, and how to figure that out. So I actually recommend that you have your human design chart with you so you can compare and look at where is this moon happening exactly in my chart. And before we dive into that, I do want to invite you. There's a couple of awesome things that I want to share with you. One of them is, if you have not yet gotten my Seasons and Stargates, your annual astrology guide for 2024 and 2025, it is ready. It is out there, and you can purchase it by clicking the link in the description of the video, or you can go to my website, which is channelforgrace.com, and then just click on Seasons and Stargates. And this book is literally the astrology of the entire year. And I go by the astrological year. So it begins with Aries season and it ends with Pisces season. Right now, we are officially in Taurus season. And in our STARSEED membership, we are using this book and the embodiment workbook, which is an ebook format sold separately, to move through our year, because every time that the sun enters into the sign of Aries, it activates a specific energy in your chart and it initiates a specific journey. And that journey continues to unfold as the sun transits through each of the zodiac signs in the wheel. And this is just the second season. So the book literally will tell you the astrology for the next 12 months. Well, it's kind of like 10 months now. But anyways, it is so amazing to have this book. You have not just the astrology like in actual list format. You have the astrology of the new moon, of the full moon of each season. You have the interpretation of the astrology. You also have the general themes of the season. What does it mean? And what should you be focusing on? Like when the sun is in Aries, and where is it happening in your chart? When the sun is in Taurus, and where is it happening in your chart? It'll guide you through the journey. And the information behind this book and the inspiration behind this book has come from my study with Matthias Stefano and I call it Atlantean astrology, but it's basically the ancient Atlantean philosophy of how to work with the astrology and why you would work with the astrology and how you would flow every year by looking at your natal chart and using your natal chart to understand how to live in not balance, because we're going to go in and out of balance. That's like the highs and lows of life, but how to live by your design, like how to kind of optimize like who you are and how to feel the joy or the satisfaction or the bliss or the happiness or even the sadness, even the times where things are not so amazing, but how to stay conscious and aware as you move through this astrological year, and how you can use that awareness and use that consciousness to, if you choose, to evolve, to heal, and if not, just to have fun and like watch what happens, fuck around and find out. I'm totally kidding. But I'm really excited that this book is out, and really excited that we are diving deep into it in the Starseed membership. So join us for both of those amazing things. We have a free community. It's called the Global Community that you can join. All you have to do is just create like a login and a password, and you get access to free events. You get access to like notifications of when like important things are happening, connection to other people in the community. There's like group chats, and it's really fun to like stay connected. And the community aspect of like Channel for Grace in general is like one of the most beautiful things about this whole thing that I offer. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for being a part of the community, whether you just watch the YouTube videos or you are in our global community. It's held on Mighty Networks. You might have heard of that app. It's a really cool app, and you can actually download the app, and it makes it so fun. It's like we have our own app. So check it out. I'm also hosting a special workshop. Speaking of like Atlantean astrology, I'm hosting a special workshop that is going to be happening on May 22nd. And there is such magnitude and power in Gemini season. So this is going to be like early on in Gemini season. But the transits that we're going to be seeing coming into Gemini season and during Gemini season are like, they will blow your mind. Like this next month or two are so like activated with the potential for you to create, to manifest, to like catapult yourself, to take quantum leaps if you want to. Lately I have been questioning and pondering and contemplating this whole idea of like living a spiritual life, and what does that even mean? We all have our idea of what it means, but I'm starting to realize that the most beautiful thing about living a spiritual path is just consciousness and awareness. Because even though I have thought of this, that ignorance is bliss, and I remember like my younger years, how I just felt so free, and like, there was stress in my life. And yes, like I have had the whole like narcissistic emotional abuse growing up and all of that. But besides that, right, those years when we're younger are moments where we feel free, and we have that freedom because we don't really have all these things to like worry about, right? And so as you progress through life and you like become an adult, you start to realize like, oh my God, there's like all the stress that like just life in general brings forth. And it's not because it's like normal. It's like we've created a society that like really stresses us out. And I've been contemplating that a lot lately. And like, what does it mean? What does it even mean to be a spiritual being? What does it even mean to be on a spiritual path? And what I've come up with is just the awareness, because life is not always going to be amazing. Life is going to go up and it's going to go down and things are going to happen. And even, when you follow the astrology, it's like, especially the astrology of now, basically since like 2012 and like the big shifts and the galactic shifts and all these things that are happening are like guiding humanity towards a big shift and a big change. And it can be a lot. It can be really heavy and it can be really intense. But then there's the aspect of you that is the individual, and the individual moving through the world and having your own experience. And that's also beautiful and magical when you give yourself the opportunity to like just be with it and not really try to like do anything other than just experience being in the world. And that's actually really beautifully connected to this new moon in Taurus that we're going to talk about in a second. But the workshop that I'm going to be doing on May 22nd has to do with looking at our chart and looking at each of the houses in our chart and determining the houses in our chart are basically representative of soul contracts. And so we have 12 different soul contracts with 12 different people. And the method that I will teach you in the workshop is how to determine who these soul contracts are with. Like what person in your life? Is it like your mother, your father, your friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spiritual teacher? Like how can you gain insight into the relationships in your life? And we do currently have the South Node in Libra, which we're halfway through this transit. So we've got like another 8-9 months. And it is, 8-9 months. Anyways, it is a powerful focus on healing within relationship. And how many of you that are watching have been experiencing such intense shifts and like experiences that are like really dense when it comes to relationships? I know I personally have. I have like been contemplating. This is something that's been coming up so intense for me, because without really understanding relationships, it's like, what is the point? We can't live completely isolated. Like as human beings, we like desire connection, but we tend to have connections that are toxic, and we tend to have connections that are like codependent and have all this like toxicity, like contaminating what can be a truly authentic experience with someone else. And quite often we find ourselves like wanting and desiring like, oh, the ideal relationship, like, well, we love each other and we respect each other and all this stuff. And then you're like in it. And what happens is all of your like shit comes up. All of your shadows show up. All of their shadows show up. And this is because we haven't consciously done the work of healing all the shit that comes from our childhood. It could be, stuff that comes from past life. Yes. But a lot of it has to do with like literally this lifetime. Like we are living this lifetime right now. You are here right now. So you don't need to focus on past lives. That can help you and give you insight and bring you a lot of interesting awareness and understanding and maybe epiphanies. But the true work is here in this lifetime. And that's why it's like we want to escape the pain, and we want to escape the trauma, and we want to escape like all the things that make us feel like shit, that make us feel like we're not good enough or whatever, right? All of those like self-limiting belief systems and ideas that literally we like adopted from growing up, like other people's ideas of the world. We adopted them. Like other people's belief systems about the world. We adopted them. So how do you know what's truly you and what's not you? And I think that that is the key to actually healing. And that's why so many spiritual teachers will talk about finding discernment between what's mine and what's not mine, but truly what's mine and what's not mine. Because we also like to do the whole like deflecting and avoiding and being like, it's everybody, it's the other person's fault. It's the other person's like, there is something wrong with them. And we tend to like just totally overlook, like to the point where like narcissistically our own shit and how we're showing up in shadow in relationship. And so this is such a huge topic and such a heavy topic and such a dense topic that most people are like, fuck it. Like, this is why living in this world sometimes sucks, you know? In the spiritual realm, it's like you have to face yourself. And because we've had so much trauma and so much conditioning, sometimes we don't even know who we are. We think we know who we are. We like attach ourselves to certain identities that make us feel good. Like, oh, I'm a good person. I'm a moral person. I'm a loving person. I'm compassionate. You know, I come from my heart. Like I want love and peace in the world, you know, and then you turn around and you're like yelling at your kids or whatever, you know, because they're like annoying the shit out of you. So this is where the true work is at. And I think that's why most people are like, they get tired of it. It's tiring. It's like, how much personal freaking work can you do? You really, here's the key. And then I'm gonna connect all of this to like what we're talking about today. I know I'm like going kind of off over here. It's been that kind of an energy. Like, are you guys enjoying Pluto retrograde so far? Yeah. So basically what we need to do, it is like the easiest of the easiest fucking things, but we just like, no, we don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And it's just sit in it. Sit in the pile of shit that you've took on. I haven't even started talking about it, Dawn. Just, can you sit in the pile of shit? Oh my God. I'm being serious. Like, that's all you got to do. Sometimes I go through these like highs and lows. I'm a 4 on the Enneagram. And sometimes I like go deep into the dark emotions and I can't get out. And I know that there's nothing wrong with me when I'm in that space. Okay? So definitely coming from personal experience here. I always come from personal experience, or at least I try to anyways. There's got to be some connection I'm making, you know, otherwise I'm just a blabbing bobblehead. But that's the key. The key is you need to just sit with it. Like, stop trying to make it better. What if for this moment you just let yourself sit in the shit of your thoughts, of your emotions, of whatever is going on? I know not everyone's going to understand what I'm talking about. The 4s will. And that's okay. But that's the truth, you know? Teal Swan talks about this all the time. You're just like jumping around on top of it and being like, oh no, I don't want to get dirty. You know, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get dirty. That's dirty. I don't want to go there. I just want to live in an illusion. the illusion. Oh, and by the way, are you enjoying Neptune at 29 degrees? Because that's another thing happening too. We just want to live in the illusion of like, what I don't even know. I literally don't even know. What is life? You're like, you guys are probably like, what happened to Jai? What is life? You know? What is this shit? God, there's so many fucking memes. I'm cussing a lot today. That's okay. But that's what's freaking going on, you guys. It's okay to be in the illusion sometimes, and it's okay to be completely raw and not in the illusion. It's okay to flow from one to the other. Sometimes all I want is just to browse fucking Instagram watching cat videos, okay? That's like, sometimes my whole day is like that. And all I want is to like make my mate drink, you know, with the cashew milk that I like made myself. And that makes me happy, you know? And then other days, it's like you're walking and then boosh, you like fall into the hole. It's like, there's no ladder to get you out of the hole. There's nobody coming to save you. Nobody's going to come and save you. And that is why people run the other direction from true spirituality. People can like fuck around all day with fake spirituality. But true, like being raw and real, and like I said, like sitting in the shit, not many people can do that. Anyways. Oh my God. Today I was watching the Leo King, and he said something that made me dude, I've been going through crazy, right? Like emotionally, I was telling my husband, and I do like to exaggerate, and then I also don't want to exaggerate. And emotionally, I feel like so, like I was telling him, this week is the worst week of my life. And it's not that I don't have what I need. I have everything I need, and I know that. But emotionally, it's like when you take that deep dive into the hole, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm so tired of the situation that I'm in, and I've like had enough, you know? It's like one of those, I'm in that space right now, but I'm slowly coming out of it. I was also on my period and all this shit. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just letting myself be a woman. That's part of it too. But there's some nuggets, you know, that are coming through. There's some nuggets, and that's why I just wanted to go live today and just talk. I don't even care. Like, yeah, we're going to look at the human design chart, and this is a beautiful gate and a beautiful gene key, and I'm really excited about this new moon. But I also wanted to be like, hey, you know what? Let's be real. Sorry about what? Oh yeah, my terrible week. It's okay, because that's the thing. It's like everyone is going to see it from a different perspective, and you have to be okay with like your perspective. Like, and that's because if you're not okay with your own perspective that you're having like in the moment, then what's going to happen is you're denying yourself of like your own truth, or you're like judging yourself. Like, I shouldn't be thinking this way, you know? No, yeah. Think that way. Think that way. It's okay. Like, just think that way, you know? You should have heard me this morning talking to my husband about everything, like how fed up I am with everything. I mean, like literal, like existential, basically midlife crisis. I'm like, my Uranus opposition is almost here. Like, you know, I'm 39. I'm going to turn 40 next month. Like, just shit like that. You know, we all go through it. I'm not like depressed about turning 40. I am just like, what the fuck happened to the time, you know? And what the fuck am I doing with my life? And this is normal. And I know this, but I just let myself go through the thoughts. Because if I don't, that will bottle up and it will, yeah. Yeah, I know. That's how it felt. That's how I was describing it. Worst week of my life. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Try going without power and water for like over a month. This is going on a month now. And I'm like it's like I've reached my limit. Aloha. This week, but it was because all these thing fell on top of it. You can only float for so long, then just sink, and that's okay. And that's what all I'm trying to say is that you need to give yourself time and space for whatever emotional process you're going through. I mean, those of you that have defined solar plexus center, sometimes you feel amazing and sometimes you don't. And when you don't, it's the worst, right? Yeah, I don't want to be strong right now. That's what's so funny. It's okay to not want to be strong too. You know what I mean? We don't have to sugarcoat it at all. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to put sugar on it. No, it sucks. And the other day and this morning, this whole week, I've been just letting it out, every day a little bit more, just let it out, just let it out, But yeah, I think that I'm moving through it. And I hope that is, and I do believe that when you sit in it and you don't run away from it, and you say all the things that you never say out loud. And I said all the things that I never say out loud today. Yeah, exactly. Right. Screaming into, I said all the things that I never say out loud today. And you know what happened? I talked for 2 hours about everything that I'd never say out loud, and then I was like, oh my God, it was like the sun. It was it felt like the sun came out. The night was over and I was okay. And I got up and I was in bed and I was crying and sobbing and whatever. I've been crying for 5 days straight. And then and somehow teaching classes and everything. That's the hardest part. It's how do you do both? But the thing is that when I teach, this is crazy because sometimes I'm I'm tired. I don't want to do this, And sometimes and every time, sometimes I have a hard time getting through when I'm not feeling 100% like that and have to teach. But there are times where I'll start talking about something like a astrology class or whatever. It happened last night with the STARSEED astrology school. It was our last class. And yeah, the whole day I was feeling like shit emotionally because it's been going on for a whole week. And I sat down and I started talking about the starseed markings, and it completely took away all of that energy, and I felt so good. And that's how I know I'm okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because that is the thing that is going to feed me, feed my soul, and that happens to me often. It's I'm I don't want to do it, and then I do it and I'm wow, that was really amazing. I surprise myself all the time. And I think that element of surprise is an aspect of me because I am a mental projector and I have so many undefined centers, and I don't have an authority in human design. Everybody's got their authority. I don't have an authority. What am I even supposed to do with that? I feel quite often like a reflector, but I'm not. I'm a projector, but I feel kind of at the mercy of the transits and the energies and other people's auras and all this stuff. And I think it's stronger when you're a projector because you take on other people, especially with an undefined G. You take on other people. You become other people and other people's energies and emotions. And it gets confusing because you get lost in the sea of energy. And you're where am I? Where am I? Who am I? Oh my God. But then, right, you go through the emotional highs and lows of whatever life is bringing at you. And for me, this week has been that moment. It's like I sing a song called, what's the name of that song? Well, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was a song that I wrote like a really long time ago when I was like going through a really hard time. And it was about like hitting rock bottom and the feeling of like, I actually love that fucking feeling. Isn't that crazy? This, if you don't know what the Enneagram is, this is a number 4 on the Enneagram speaking. Okay. I love that feeling. This is going to sound so fucking crazy, you guys. And I apologize for those of you that are like, can't handle that right now. But this is where I'm at. Okay. I actually love when I get to that point, not in the moment, right after, when I get to the point where I feel like I've hit rock bottom emotionally, where I literally feel like I want to fucking die and I don't want to do this anymore. And it's not being suicidal. Not at all. It's almost like just letting the anger out. And then coming out of that is like, oh, thank God, because I let myself go there. I let myself like, because the longer that you try to float, like when you're going through some crazy shit in your life, how many times have you experienced this? You're going through some crazy shit in your life and you're like, I'm floating. I'm doing great. I'm doing so good. I'm floating. I'm like, oh my God, everything's okay because I'm floating and I'm floating through. And yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know, and like, then you die, you know, then you're like, and it's like, dude, stop floating. Anyways, I sank to the bottom. And then I was like, oh, I'm just going to let myself emotionally die. You know, like I'm going to let myself go through the emotional death, the death of me, you know? And no, I'm not suicidal or anything like that. It's just the process of healing is like that, you know? So anyways, I'm done fucking floating and it's okay. That's all I wanted to say. I'm in that space right now. And that's actually the beauty of life too, you know, because it's not always happy. It's not always high. You're not always on the high, you know, the high is going to come later. Like, but this low is like, it's lasting a pretty long time. And then I was saying about how the Leo King said something and I was like, yeah, this is total Leo King vibes. Okay. So, but the Leo King said, he was like, he's like, right now, I'm going through Pluto opposed my sun, Neptune square my Neptune, Pluto square my Pluto. And he's like, and that's rare. You don't have both of them going on at the same time or all three of those things going on at the same time. It's only something that happened if you were born in 1984. And I was like, of course. And so I already knew this, but I went to look at my chart and I'm going through the same shit. And it's crazy because I was born with my moon at 0 degrees of Leo. And he was born with his sun at 0 degrees of Leo. And right now Pluto is like opposing that. And those transits of like Pluto opposes the sun, Pluto opposes the moon, like they can be freaking volatile. It can feel like you're like, you know, you're getting like, you're dying, you know? You gotta go, you know? And yeah. And so I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So we're also going through, this is a dark moon this week. And there's more too. I mean, you know what? Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. I also just had my progressed full moon in January. And the progressed full moon is a time where you reach like the ultimate, I don't know what you would call it. You'd reach the ultimate, like the fruition of like all the things you worked on for the last like 14 years. And I had my progressed full moon. And so this year, 2024 is like my progressed full moon, but I'm also going through Pluto opposed my moon, Neptune square Neptune, and Pluto square Pluto. And it's like those transits are heavy and they last a long ass time because those outer planets are like, they go so fucking slow, you know? It's like never ending transit that happens in your chart and people get like so tired of it. But that's literally what's like happening in my chart. And I'm going to put the transits on it because I want to show you how crazy that this is happening for me. So right now we are in Taurus season. I've got Jupiter in my 11th house and it's about to enter into the 12th house. Jupiter is also about to go into Algol. And like literally when Jupiter hits Algol, it enters into my 12th house of spirituality. So yay. However, I'm going to move forward because we're going to have a conjunction with Jupiter and the sun. And that's happening in my 12th house, which is also, that's crazy. And then if we keep going, the sun will enter into Gemini, right? We'll enter into Gemini season on May 20th. And Venus is right behind the sun. She's catching up to the sun very quickly. She's moving very fast. Right now, she's basically behind the sun, so we can't see her. And she's about to make her star point, her Venus star point. Well, that Venus star point, like, so there's a conjunction with Sun and Jupiter at 28 degrees. There's a conjunction with Venus and Jupiter at 29 degrees. And that's literally 1 degree away from Alcyon. The next day, Venus enters onto Gemini, hits the Pleiades together. And literally just a couple of days later, Jupiter enters and hits the Pleiades too. So these planets are also really important in my chart because guess what? If you look at my chart, you could see I have Sun in Gemini. I have Venus in Gemini. I have my North Node in Gemini, and I have Chiron in Gemini in my 12th house. So this is, to me, it's not your ordinary Gemini season. Hell no. And we're going to be doing a workshop about Jupiter in Gemini in the Starseed membership. So if you want to know what this is going to mean for you in your chart, then definitely come join us in the Starseed membership. But basically, if I keep moving forward, Venus is closer and closer to the sun. 12 degrees, they come together. My sun is at 13 degrees. The actual conjunction of Venus and the sun, their star point in Gemini, the Venus star point in Gemini, where then she then becomes the evening star, is literally happening on my sun, on my birthday. Well, it's like the day right after my birthday, but literally they're conjunct exactly 13 degrees, and they go in like 12, 13, 14 degrees. They're like together, and it's like the portal of the Venus star point. And it's all happening in my 12th house of spirituality. And I seriously, and then Venus is going through the underworld too. So, and I was born in the immersion phase, which Venus is in the immersion phase right now. And I was born with a Venus star point during a Gemini Venus star point. I mean, there's just so freaking much, you know? So it's not your regular time. Yeah, the soul contract class is happening on May 22nd. And we're going to look at our chart at the 12 houses, and we're going to determine like what are these 12 soul contracts that I have with 12 specific people, and I'll help you determine how do you know what person it's with. I will help you do that in the workshop. It's going to be like on Zoom meeting, so we're going to be talking to each other and very like workshop style, and I'll help you guys. I'll guide you through the whole process and then tell you like how do you find the meaning behind that. Like once you have the people, the 12 people, What's the meaning behind it? And what it does is it like opens you up to a deeper understanding of your soul contracts, the major ones that you're dealing with right now, and whether they're still going or whether they are, complete. What's the biggest lesson that you are learning or are supposed to learn from this soul contract? How is it affecting your health, your body at a cellular level? How is it affecting your life? What area of your life does this affect? What planets do these soul contracts like highlight? And it's actually really cool. And the reason why I was saying that we're doing this now is because look at all this crazy stuff happening. So we are going to be working with what matters right now the most. South Node in Libra, it has to do with relationships and finding ourselves so that we can be in better relationship with everyone, with people. And yeah, so that's actually going to be a really fun thing to do together. So there's a link in the description for that workshop, but thanks for asking about that. Anyways, I just wanted to show you like how crazy this stuff is and how crazy it's hitting my chart. And I'm like seriously feeling it. I didn't even say hi to everybody, but hi, Courtney, Jeanette, Dawn, thanks for being here. Sanders, welcome in. Oh my God, my favorite boss was forced to resign. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh. Yeah. Crazy. Hello, Rebecca. That sounds gnarly. Hello, Ping. Thank you. I'm glad that don't pretend that you're me. Just, you gotta be you. Yeah, I know. Normal. Yeah, it's normal. It's all good. Hello, Nelvin. Welcome in. And Lisa. She says, my Venus and South Node are in Gemini in the 8th house. Ooh. Hello, Bernadine. Nodes at 13 degrees too. Yeah. This is a big deal. This is like, you have to really take advantage of the astrology right now, because soon, like in the fall, like August, but like September, October, November, like shit is going to hit the fan. And you're going to feel like you can't move forward. So you need to move forward now. We can't waste any more time. But here's the coolest thing about, let's now finally get to this moon, right? This new moon in Taurus. We talked about the astrology in the astrology video, so check that out if you have not checked that out. But you also have Sun at 13, so our Sun's conjunct. And this moon is happening on the 2nd gate. So this is the chart, and the 2nd gate is in the G center. And it's very important. And there's 2 channels that are being completed right now, or not right now, but yeah, right now partly, but really they're being completed with, thank you, Rebecca, that's really sweet. With the planets right now. So the channel of initiation, it's Neptune and the North Node. And then the channel of inspiration is the Earth and Jupiter. And we'll talk about both of those channels because they are significant. I mean, the channel of initiation and the channel of inspiration, it's not that difficult to sort of like determine what they're talking about. So I think that that's an exciting energy. But if we focus on just the moon, the new moon, it's happening on the 2nd gate. And the 2nd gate is in the G center. And the cool thing about the G center is that it has to do with like direction. And it has to do with identity too. Like people that have a defined G center have a consistent sense of self. Like maybe like a personality, but it's not really like a personality. It's more like a self-knowing. And that sense of self doesn't change. It doesn't change based on who you're hanging out with. It doesn't change when you're in a relationship. Yeah, we have all this conditioning, but technically, without the conditioning, like, you are who you are, and you know who you are, and you know the direction that you're moving in life. And someone who has an undefined G center, they're moving in a certain direction, but they feel less consistent of a sense of self, and they can feel more lost. I know this from experience. I have an undefined G center in my chart. So my experience is that, like, I don't know who I am. And my whole life, it's like, because we try to define the centers that are undefined, my whole life I'm like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Like, my whole fucking spiritual experience has been, who am I? You know? I mean, the universe asked that question too. And it became, and then the Big Bang happened. But like, that's not the question that I should be asking myself personally in my life. The question that I should be asking myself is, how do I want to, how bad do I want to like live in my design? And what does living in my design mean? And we should all be asking ourselves that question. But the G center is the one that like gives you that sense of direction in life. I do have a gate in my G center, and it is the first gate, and it's my Mars, and it's actually a really powerful energy, drive and motivation, but in the second gate is where this new moon, where the sun and the moon are going to be meeting. And so what is this second gate about? It's called the gate of direction of the self. It's also known as the receptive. It's people with a flair for innovative guidance. These people have an inherent alignment for where someone or something needs to go. The power of this gate can be symbolized by the acorn that knows how to become an oak tree, but needs the sunlight and the water of the 14, the resources and the commitment to make it happen. These people know where they want to go, but lack the ability to get there without the 14. This is the key that starts the engine of the 14. These are people that can get frustrated or exhausted from trying to do all the work themselves. They are not the ones who are necessarily here to do the work. Rather, they hold the gift of coordinating where and how the creative process can be directed. The secret for such people is to find the right allies in life in order that they can use their gifts. So think about the moon is saying this to us. Like, how is your creative life force, in what direction is your creative life force energy being directed? Are you even expressing your creativity? And is it even allowed to come out right now? Is it even coming out right now? This is a beautiful, like, a sense of belonging to the universe too. And trusting that like deep down inside, you have the wisdom. And all you have to do is just like trust that you'll be taken like a magnet, that you'll be like kind of magnetized towards the things that are meant for you, that are part of your design, that flow with your design. So that's what this moon is trying to tell us. It's like, it's trying to help us realign with the direction of ourself. Like, where are we going? And are we aware of where we're going? So you can trust, like, and the thing about it is, like, it's not really about changing the direction. It's more about like surrendering to the magnet that's like pulling you or taking you or guiding you in the right direction, and not resisting the right direction. And also trusting that, yes, you are always moving in the right direction. There's no need to like question that, because everything is perfect just the way it is. And that's a huge lesson that we're learning right now, is surrender, because the universe is throwing at us all this crazy shit, all these unexpected things, like these plot twists and turns in our life. And when you thought you had enough, like another thing shows up. And what you're supposed to be doing right now is going, okay, whatever, I'm going to keep moving forward. I trust that that's meant to happen, that this is supposed to be what's happening right now. And that's what this is all about. It's like innovative intuition, innovative guidance, like trusting that you are moving in the right direction. So that's a big question that you have to ask yourself right now. But if you have the 14, what you're going to have is the power to really like make those things happen. And the channel that connects the 2nd and the 14th gate is called the channel of the beat. So if you have the 14, if anybody does, let us know in the chat. But the 14 is in the sacral and it connects to the 2 in the G center. A design of being a keeper of the keys. Does anyone actually have this channel? Because that would be interesting too. Because you have the ability and power to always follow your own direction in life, you are a way shower for others, whether directly or indirectly. Courtney has it. Bernadine has the channel. People who have this channel defined have both the energy to sustain creative work and the gift of knowing how to use their work to empower others. These are people who have an inbuilt mission in life. As long as they are waiting to respond to life as they go along, their direction will always unfold naturally, right? It's about surrendering. Whereas the channel, the 360, is simply a blind pressure to create change. People with the 214 have the skill to manipulate change in the direction that they wish. Wow. These people have very powerful auric fields that can directly affect the direction of other people's lives. At times, this can be very subtle. For example, you can pass through the aura of a 214 and undergo a change in your own direction. This is one of the 3 tantric channels. In this instance, tantra refers to the need to surrender to the inner direction of the sacral center. This can be experienced as life itself making decisions rather than a conscious participation in decision making. Wow. Life itself making decisions. It can be profound experience for such people when they let go and trust life. So, I mean, this is the big message of this moon. Can you let go and trust life? For real? We're being initiated right now. 2551, the channel of initiation with Neptune and the North Node. Like destiny, the future, also what takes us outside of our comfort zone. And trusting our intuition and our dreams, letting our dreams guide us to the future. We're being initiated. Like nobody has a choice in this matter. You know, this is what's happening with these channels. And then we have the 1-8, and that's the other one I wanted to talk about, which is Jupiter and what was the other one? I'm going to look at it in a second, but I wanted to find it here. And both of these is individual circuitry, which is like you need to trust your own direction. There's no one else that knows the right direction but you. Oh, it was the Earth and Jupiter. Okay. So the 1-8, the channel of inspiration, a design of being a creative role model. You are here to be creatively different from everyone else. Your life is about having the courage to stand out from the crowd simply by being yourself. You will always get the recognition you deserve. Like, what? I have the 1 too. So Jupiter is on the 8, and that's a big planet. And the 8 is the gate of contribution, people with a gift of knowing how to draw people's attention to a truth. I mean, this is potent stuff. Like all of this is very, very potent. There is nothing like easy about this other than the easy flow will come when you let life guide you. And you stop like trying to force this and force that, because life happens through the body. And this is a big theme with human design. Life happens in the body. The body doesn't need you to tell it where to go. The body doesn't need you to tell it how to live. The body doesn't need you to tell it like what to do. The body just does, lives, moves. It's unconscious, it's subconscious. It's like that's the design side of your human design. Everybody has a design side, meaning all the red lines, all the red channels. Your body doesn't need direction. You just need to like stop trying to control the direction, because that's what the mind does. It tries to take over the process that naturally is going to unfold. You don't have to do anything. But all the conditioning that happens in the mind and happens in the undefined and the undefined centers. And the conditioning tells you otherwise. Like, no, that's wrong. This is the right way. And so we're like resisting, like Abraham Hicks says, we're going against the current. Just stop paddling upstream, turn the boat around, let the boat turn around naturally, and then freaking go down the river. You're not supposed to be going up the river. Hey, babe. You're supposed to be going down the river, like with the current, not against it. So that's what it means to like let life take you. And you are supposed to just enjoy the fucking ride. And it's a fucking roller coaster, you guys. But you're supposed to, your mind is not your authority. Like when you're in your head, and this is really intense for me because I'm a mental projector, and I know I speak for all mental projectors when we're like, how are we supposed to not be in our head when that's all we have? Well, you're here as a mental projector to share insight. You can see things that other people can't very clearly. And you can speak on those things, but they're not for you. They're for everybody else. And that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to realize, that I don't have an authority. I don't have a way to make decisions. And that's why more than anything, I need to just let my body do the moving, let life do the guiding, not like let the instinctual knowing of your body, mind, not even mind, just your body, because we're talking about, but like your DNA, like your design, let your design guide you and take a seat. Stop being like you're trying to be a backseat driver, and that's why you're suffering, because you're trying to control life instead of letting life unfold naturally. So all of this energy is like, you're being initiated. You don't have a choice. And you know what else is happening? You're being like asked to let go, like let go of the wheel, because your mind is not in control. As much as you want to think you're in control through your head and your decisions that you make, you're not. So the more that you can like stop trying to drive the car and just be the passenger, the more that you are going to enjoy the ride, or give yourself the opportunity to like surprise yourself, you know? That's why they call it the human design experiment, because you have to see what happens. Try this, try that. What happens when you try to make a decision? What happens when you let your design make the decision, you know? And then learning from the experience of that, the magic. So right now, all these transits, this new moon, the way that it is like we're going through an initiation, and we need to let go of trying to control our life and let go of the wheel and let life guide you forward, not your mind. And when you do that, it's like it'll all naturally fall into place, and you might actually enjoy the ride. So that's crazy energy. That's a crazy energy. And this was a crazy broadcast. So sun is going down and it's time. I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out today with me. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. We are going to be meeting right here for our new moon ceremony next Tuesday. The ceremony is happening May 7th. And so we'll meet here. I'm going to sing some songs again. I'm going to do the 432 hertz of my guitar. I'm going to I have my guitar tuned at 432, and that's been really fun to play around with that. So we'll do more of that. We'll just come together and we'll let life guide us instead of trying to control everything or trying to stay on top of it or try to keep floating. Like, if it's time to sink, it's time to sink. If it's time to fly, it's time to fly. Pluto just went retrograde. And there's a lot of crazy transits coming up. So the energy is potent and we're going through a powerful initiation. So thank you guys all for being here on this broadcast. I hope you enjoy this new moon in Taurus energy. It is exalted, so it is a beautiful energy. It should feel good. If you let yourself feel good, it'll feel good. And you let yourself feel good by relaxing. Let yourself be the passenger. Thank you, Peng. That's really sweet. And come join us on May 22nd for our soul contract workshop. Soul contracts in your natal chart. It's going to be really fun. And then come join us in the membership because we're going to be doing a special Jupiter in Gemini workshop. And it's only going to be available in the Starseed membership. You get a week free when you sign up for the membership. And it's like the most, I put so much content into the Starseed membership. We meet once a month, like a couple of times. We're going to be doing the Gemini season workshop. We're doing workshops every season before the season starts or as it's starting, so that we're like checking in, like, okay, where is this happening in my chart? How do I prepare? What should I be focusing on? Where does the theme take me next in life? We're going through the whole year together. And that was part of why I wrote my book, Seasons and Stargates, which I'm already getting ready to write next year's book. Because that's how it should be. It should be ready before the year ends. You shouldn't be working on it up till the last minute, which is what I had to do this year, but that's okay. I'm really excited about this book. Get it? You can get it on my website. It's $44.44 plus it's $11.11 is the shipping, and sometimes it costs more shipping, but I pay the extra if it does cost extra. So if you have not gotten it, definitely check it out. And I will hopefully see you guys at some of these awesome events. And there's also some cool, more astrology schools coming in the near future, which I'm really excited about. I'm designing a mentorship, an astrology mentorship that will be like intertwined with an astrology school that teaches you how to interpret astrology, which is what we all want to get better at. But I want to do it in a way that's more of a mentorship, that I can like work with you personally, like where are you at? And it's going to be like a small group experience. But it'll be coupled with the astrology school, where we get to look at all kinds of different charts, and I'm really excited. And the other astrology school that is going to be coming soon is also the Goddess Astrology School, and I'm going to be going into asteroids. So like goddess asteroids, all kinds of goddess asteroids, Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, Set, Hathor asteroid, like the connection between like talking about the goddess in astrology. And interesting how a lot of asteroids are feminine energies, and they're like not really seen like as important as the planets, but they can bring in so much wisdom into your chart. And yeah, so looking at the dark goddess, the light goddess, you know, the maiden, the mother, the crone energies within the world of goddess and feminine energy in astrology, I think that would be a really, that's going to be a really fun class. And if you want to take the Starseed Astrology School, where I literally taught you about starseed markings in your chart, we went through the entire astrological wheel. The class is ready. All the replays are up. You can watch them. You can sign up for it. It's super easy, and there's links below for all of this stuff. So if you're curious, then definitely check it out. All right, Sat Nam. I will see you guys again very soon.